It's your guy JD, going live, guys. Going live, going live. So today, I want to talk about adjusting your life in DR. Adjusting to the pace of life in the Dominican Republic. All right, and I'm gonna give you nine things that I came up with that I think will help those of you guys who are looking to transition to Dominican Republic, make a life for yourself in DR. And this is, like I said, based on my experience. Everybody has their own ideas and own experiences, and that's fine. So I just wanted to give you nine things, and I hope I'm able to go through all nine things that I have encountered living in the Dominican Republic. I consider myself like a partial expat only because I've been traveling there for so many years. So the first thing I would say is embrace. You have to embrace the culture, tranquilo. All right, tranquilo, guys. Life moves, slower here, and people value, taking things easy in the Dominican Republic. Don't be surprised if appointments run late or if plans change at the last minute. Accept it as part of the charm, not the frustration, because you can easily get frustrated in Dominican Republic dealing, with the locals. So, you have to just stay tranquilo and embrace. I must say that again, embrace, embrace, embrace. Number two, plan with flexibility. Time is often fluid. I order means not order, I order doesn't necessarily mean right now. It can mean soon or even later. It'll allow yourself to just to be patient. You really have to allow yourself to be patient. Otherwise, you will find yourself just scratching your head over and over and over again. Trust me. So number three, I'd say prioritize relationships over schedules. People are more focused on social media interaction than on the clock. Okay, so try to prioritize that. Okay. Number four, I'd say expect delays and learn to laugh. Learn to laugh. Thank you for your time and patience. I appreciate you, RA. Appreciate you, my sister. I really do. Thank you. But yeah, you have to expect the delays and take it from somebody that knows. I'm gonna give you one thing: electricity outages, internet slowdowns, or even bureaucratic holdups can happen. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that you can kind of expect. You gotta learn how to just adjust with it. And one example, my house up in the mountains, living up in the mountains, electricity. My electricity has been off and on, off and on. And then oftentimes, trying to get somebody out there to fix it, it could take a week. I'm just thankful that I'm not living there at this moment because I'll probably be more frustrated, you know what I mean? But I think when you are there, you can get things done faster than not being there, if that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. So number five, enjoy the present. Locals, they live, day by day. Dancing, music, food, is always around. You know what I mean? So you want to just enjoy the present. This is how locals live their life, guys. So if you're going to be living there, you got to live in the present because that's the mentality of the locals. And number six, I say take breaks. We as black people, we love to break. When we break, we break. And so does Dominican locals. They love to break, okay? They love to take breaks, especially on a Sunday. A Sunday is just like a big day for Dominican Republic. For the people in Dominican Republic, they're either at the beach, they're either on the Malecon, no matter what part of Dominican Republic, because I think that most cities in the Dominican Republic have the Malecon. I know there's one in Puerto Plata for sure. You got one in Santo Domingo for sure. There's one in San Francisco, San Pedro for sure. So the locals love to chill out on the Malecon. You got bikers passing by, music playing, food, vendors, you know what I mean? So, take a break and enjoy that and embrace that, for sure. So now we're gonna go with number seven. I think number seven. because I had to write some of these things down. Adapt to your expectations. Trying to impose your own structure or or pace won't work. You know what I'm saying? People in Dominican Republic, they do not like to be rushed. You got to go with the flow, and your stress will melt away faster than you expect. Trust me from somebody who has been there. Yo, what the f we look like? Hope all is well. Missed your last live. What's going on with the membership option? Actually, Magulian, I put my membership is out. It is out for those of you guys who want to join the membership, and I will be posting stuff daily. For people who want to join the membership, I sent it to a few of my viewers. So if you guys want to join, let me know. Magulian, I think I have your information. So if you want to join, just reach out to me via email, taylorjayson01@gmail.com. All right. So yeah, back to adapting to your expectations. Like as I said, you guys, you got to go with the flow. You got to go with the flow. Dominicans are very easygoing. They're very laid back. You know what I mean? So if you want to adapt, and the fastest way to adapt is to be like the Dominican Republic, people in DR. You got to be laid back and just kind of going with the flow. Number 9, avoid rushing locals. And I think I mentioned that, pressuring someone to hurry up is often, counterproductive. Okay. Respecting the local rhythm earns trust and makes life easier. Trust me, it makes it easier. Dominicans don't like to be rushed. They don't like to be yelled at. Us as Americans, we have I guess you can say that, we come from a country where, we expect things to be rapidito. You know what I'm saying? Time is of the essence. You know what I'm saying? I'm from New York. Our mentality is things done in a New York minute. So, adjusting to that kind of lifestyle, it will humble you because if you get in front, it will humble you eventually, and I just learned over the years that you really have to go with the flow. Even when it comes to doing business in Dominican Republic, a lot of us get turned off, when we expect, especially when we're spending our own money and we expect someone to be there at a specific time and they show up, 2, 3, 4 hours later like it's nothing. Of course, that will frustrate you, but guys, you got to understand that is part of the culture. So you have to, as I said, go with the flow. And number 10, I'd say celebrate the slow life, guys. You got to celebrate it. You'll discover that living slower often means living happier. You know what I mean? And trust me, for a lot of the expats that I know, when I'm going down there and I'm back and forth, a lot of expats that I know, they're happy. You see this glow. They have adapted to the lackadaisical, lifestyle, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, what's the point of, leaving America to go to another country and still kind of have that mentality? You know what I'm saying? We have to kind of readjust our mindset, when it comes to living in Dominican Republic. It's 5 of you guys on the chat. Please be sure to hit the like, be sure to hit the share and the subscribe. I appreciate it. Yeah, but you really have to pretty much be flexible. Be flexible. You don't rush. Take your time. Even when it comes to business, you'll lose a lot of money when you're trying to be fast, handling business and doing things fast. Okay. Take it from somebody who knows. I mean, I'm not just making this live just because most of the things that I'm explaining to you guys, I have experienced myself. I have been traveling Dominican Republic for we're talking about almost, 10 years. So I got some experience in the game. So trust me when I tell you, taking your time, allowing yourself to get familiarized with the culture, traveling to different cities, these are the kind of things that you should be doing, and not being afraid to step outside the box. I know a lot of us are scared, and propaganda is definitely real. Even when I first traveled to the Dominican Republic, I was advised not to leave outside of the resorts. And for those of you guys that are traveling to the Dominican Republic for the first time, don't let the resort people tell you, oh, don't travel outside, it's dangerous, because that's so not true. And I can definitely speak for the North Coast. The North Coast is one of the most safest places to live in Dominican Republic. I will tell you that. And you don't really hear too much of crime and Americans being killed and things of that nature. And I know when something does happen in Dominican Republic, involving a foreigner, they make a big deal and a huge deal out, and most things that when things happen to foreigners in Dominican Republic, it's because of their actions. You know what I mean? Things that you shouldn't put yourself into, in terms of dealing with people that you shouldn't be dealing with, and being in places that you shouldn't be. And don't listen. I will tell you, I am a daredevil, but I know who to move with and how to move, okay? And I've been doing this for a long time, and I wouldn't recommend somebody that's just traveling the Dominican Republic for the first time to take these kind of risks. You know what I mean? You really have to be careful, and always keep one eye open. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go. But for the most part, Dominican Republic is relatively safe. Like I said, Puerto Plata, Punta Cana, places like that. I don't see it being dangerous at all. I'm one that drives. When I get to Dominican Republic, I rent my car. I drive I drive all over pretty much. I have familiarized myself in Dominican Republic to the point where I can navigate. And if you are looking to get around, I don't think it's advisable for a person that's looking to go there for the first time renting a car, only because you don't know the roads and you don't know how these locals drive. I mean, especially on the weekends, you got a lot of drinking and driving, and it might not even be your fault. And let's just say, if in case you do get into a car accident, in which that has happened to me, for those of you guys who are just watching this channel for the first time, you can see some of my previous videos putting out. Actually, in April, I got into a car accident. But if in case you do get into an accident, more than likely you're gonna be at fault. They do target the gringos. They do, and especially if you don't know the language. You can find yourself up shit's creek, to say the least. And this is one of the reasons why I explained to a lot of you guys that investing and trying to make a life for yourself in Dominican Republic, the number one priority should be for you guys is learning the language. Learning the language. Do I speak Spanish fluently? No, I don't. However, I have taken Spanish in school, so it has given me, an ability to, learn it faster than the average person, if that makes sense. And I even downloaded Babbel, which is an effective app for someone who is looking to learn how to speak Spanish. I highly recommend it, for sure. I heard you got robbed. Also, you had to pay $3,000 car insurance accident fee. I didn't get robbed. I didn't get robbed. I didn't get robbed, and that's a whole nother story. And we, I wouldn't say it was robbed. I went through the whole process of trying to figure out whether or not I was being gringoed. And I do have a friend who happens to be a police officer, who explained, once I broke down to him the whole situation, no, I didn't get robbed. I didn't get robbed, and I had my friend who was a police officer to protect me, and he explained to me in full detail, how things work in DR and how, that whole situation. So I'm a man of honesty, and I do have a conscience. So I did pay the person what was supposed to be paid, and I moved on. You know what I mean? But as far as me getting robbed, no, that's not the case. A guy played Dominion was killed on his moto the same night. He was a really nice guy. R.I.P. young brother. Yeah, and you really have to be careful. Even driving on motos. I know a lot of us like motorcycles. I enjoy riding the Pasola. I really do. Is Puerto Plata a place to learn? Hell to the no. It really isn't. If you're one of those people that like driving motorcycles, I think you should be very cautious because it's not you have to worry about, it's the locals you have to worry about for sure. And then even driving on them at night, I don't think it's, recommended. You can easily get robbed at night, driving a motorcycle as a gringo, foreigner, tourist, whatever you want to call it. You're putting a target on yourself when you're doing that. And if you're gonna, drive, it's better you drive during the day. During the day, I always say drive during the day. But I wouldn't recommend it. The only way I would drive a motorcycle if it's in a smaller city, in which I did visit a city called Bayaguana, very small city, not a lot of traffic like Puerto Plata. And when I visited that city, I said to myself, this is the place that I would feel comfortable learning how to, drive a Pasola, which we call mopeds back home. I've drove one when I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, younger, but I'm not gonna say I'm an expert at it, you know what I'm saying? So it would take me some time to learn how to balance the bike and and all of that. Because I think that's the main part for me is the balance and the stopping and the going and how the Dominicans move through traffic the way they do. And if you're not experienced, I would say don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Yeah. RA says Duolingo, Babel, and Rosetta Stone are language apps. Sorry, we are playing dominoes. Yeah, and that's another thing, and as you said, RA, yes, those apps are very, very effective. I highly recommend it. And, I'm not, you have to pace yourself when it comes to learning Spanish. It's not easy for people who are beginners. It's definitely not easy. But what I will say is that, just take at least an hour or 2 hours a day to learn. Okay, I work in a hospital, and it's the population, the clients that we have in. I work in a town where it's a big population of Hispanics. So it has enabled me to be able to speak more Spanish to them, when they're coming in the door, and just basic stuff that I have to, ask questions that I have to ask repetitive on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? So what I find effective for me is that knowing that I got to ask questions, the same questions to this, different clients coming in, I started translating it in Spanish. And then, this is how I'm able to retain learning, the things that I write down. You know what I mean? For sure. Who tried to cut you out on your referral fee since you're not a real estate? Oh, come on. You seem like you are a negative person who are really trying to push my buttons here. Like, what's your deal, bro? What's your deal? You don't know what I am, and you have no idea what I'm doing. So therefore, I think I might have to remove you from the chat. Yeah, because you're people like you, I have no time for. Yeah, I did. You're out of here. You're out of here. So anyway, so for those of you guys who are trying, to make a life for yourselves in Dominican Republic, boom, ain't got time for that. I sure don't. I have no time for ignorant, negative people. I'm all about positive vibes and really trying to, help people get to where they want to be, and where they not where they want to be, but where they should be. I think we are all deserving of a quality of life. You know what I mean? I work so hard. Here it is. I'm at work right now. Here at work right now. Don't let these haters push your buttons, Jay. No, I'm not, bro. I'm not. But what I'm not going to tolerate is people coming on my live and just trying to be. It's just too much of negativity going on in the world. You know what I mean? And the kind of people that I want to be surrounded with are people that are supportive of what I'm doing and positive and just trying to elevate themselves. So if you're not on that kind of a level, then I get people that sign up, that subscribe every day. You know what I mean? So one less negative person is a plus for me. You know what I mean? To say the least. But for sure, guys, I mean, I'm at a point now I got a lot going on. I did say that I was going to take some time off from the whole YouTube thing, but I just needed time to revamp things. You know what I mean? With my YouTube channel, the house, things are going great. I will say. And for those of you guys that want to subscribe to the members only, as I said, I'm going to be posting, content that you guys can definitely benefit from. I just posted a video today on, because I think that you guys really need to know this, on how to purchase untitled land, because it's a big misconception. It really is. A lot of you guys are scared to buy untitled land and take it from somebody like myself who has been through the process not once, but twice. But twice, guys, twice. And that video will help you to really understand how the process goes when it comes to purchasing, or even thinking about purchasing, untitled land for that matter. Okay. And indecisive climates will wear you out. I realize, that comes with the territory. It does. But, all I ask is that if you are looking to do business with me, all I ask is that, just be straight up. That way I know what I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? And it is frustrating to say the least, but, I realize that just comes with the business. You know what I mean? It does. It definitely does. So with that being said, I definitely have a lot more content coming out soon, very, very soon. The kitchen in my home will be done maybe July 15th. They're telling me, 15 to 21 days, give or take, so I'm waiting. Well, actually, the cabinets will be done. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. The cabinets in the house will be done. And then once the cabinets are done, then I'm going to have the people that come out to measure the granite and all of that. Then they'll come out and do all the measurements for the granite. Yeah. So that's pretty much, what I got going on. And if you guys, want to reach out, as I said before, I do a consultation. I am charging now, guys, for my consultations, $50, per consultation. And, that, like I said, I have provided more than enough information for you guys to pretty much navigate. I'm well seasoned in this. I know a lot of people in the expat community, to help you guys to navigate and get, because I always say, if you're going out there to make a life for yourself, one thing you should do is, get yourselves connected with, the people in the people in the expat community. It's just very important. God, if in case something happens, you can call on somebody, and that has happened to me, and whether you're living in, Puerto Plata or Santo Domingo, I know expats pretty much throughout the Dominican Republic, that if in case something happens, even when I got into the car accident, I was able to call one of my buddies that lived, in Santo Domingo, leaving, Bayaguana, so it's just very important to have that access of communication, if in case something happens, for sure. Are you going to Airbnb your spot when it's done? RA. I'm on the fence about that right now. I am, because I'm at with the bottom level, I'm at 90% done. Once the kitchen is done, I mean, it's pretty much livable. And, I don't know. I haven't decided yet, because I still have the apartment that I'm renting out. So I'm just trying to weigh it out. One thing I do know is I know that I need to start recouping some of this money. That for sure. I need to definitely start to recoup some of the money that I have spent. So more than likely, I probably will. But after you guys, you have to understand, when it comes to building a home in Dominican Republic, it's not easy. And I will tell you, the finishings is the most expensive. I think you'll spend more money in the finishings than anything else, especially if you one of those people that have, good taste, and if it's your home, if it's something that you plan on living in, you might as well just put the best in it. You know what I'm saying? In terms of ceramics, lighting, flooring, everything, so that's where you're going to spend the bulk of your money is the finishings, you know. And I always say shop around. Don't get yourselves overwhelmed because it can be overwhelming. You know, do what you can when you can do it. Pace yourself. You know, and hey, if you're one of those people that can spin it all at once, my hats off to you. Salute. But if you're like me, who was working, you know, two jobs trying to make it happen for yourselves, I will say and see, y'all hear that? Y'all hear that sirens? These are the things that just pushing me to get my ass out of New York. You know what I mean? Out of America. I'm just ready for the slow pace of life. Living in New York City, man. It's just I talk about it every day to my coworkers, and it's a motivation for me. Just to keep going and to keep pushing. And yes, it definitely has been a journey to say the least. But would I do it all over again? Yes, I will. I would, I should say. I would definitely do it all over again, only because I know that, this too shall pass. There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. And, once I get everything, once it's all said and done, I'm living good. I'm living good and enjoying the fruits of my labor. And I say it to you guys all the time. In America, we have been indoctrinized to believe that, we got to wait till we're 62, to retire. It's no guarantee the way life is going and shit is happening. It's no guarantee we're going to live to retirement. I just had a doctor here that just passed away. Two people that I know that I have worked with just passed away. A doctor and a patient care assistant who was in her 40s, man. She had sickle cell and a couple of other health problems, and she just passed away. So, we work and we work and we work, and really no time to enjoy. And this is one of the reasons why, I work so hard so that I can take time off to enjoy. And it's a lot of us can't afford to do that. I get it. But I will say, you really gotta take care of you, man. You really do. Because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna take care of you better than you. You know what I mean? So I always say, even if you can, even if you go on vacation once a year, you are deserving of that, if nothing else. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else. So, even with me, like I planned on, after the roof is done, I mean the kitchen is done, my next phase of my project is doing this roof. Is doing the roof. And I will tell you, that is costly depending on what kind of roof you want to do. And I'm going to be making most of the videos that I'm going to be doing now for the members only is going to be some videos that I have done in the past. And I think that some of those videos in the past are old and I need to do some updated videos. And one is the price of materials. So I will be doing a updated video of pricing of materials so that you guys know what to expect when you're looking to build. Okay, I'm talking about nails, cement, windows, ceramics. The prices of those vary. You've got high quality, low quality, so it all, that is different. But when I'm talking about windows and bars and nails and gravel and all that stuff. I will be putting out another video so that you guys know, the pricing of materials, because things have gone up since I have done my project. And yeah, it's time for an updated video. So yeah, most of the videos that I will be posting in the members only section will definitely be informative information that you guys can definitely benefit from. And other than those videos, I'll be posting, regular videos. I try to do a live here and there, land for sale. And another viewer of mine said, "Yo, J-Day, what happened to the interview?" So I'm gonna be lining up some more interviews. I think it's time to get some more people on the platform so that they can share their experiences in the Dominican Republic. And I actually had a viewer of mine who just joined the channel, and he was talking about investing in San Pedro de Marcari. So yeah, I was trying to have him on because I feel like DR is small, but big in a sense because for me it's just so many nooks and crannies, and I find it that it's growing. The population of expats is growing at a rapid pace. A lot of us are starting to move out into smaller cities, so and I know a few people who live in the smaller cities that can kind of give their experience on how they have adapted, living in smaller cities opposed to living in populated cities like Santiago, Santo Domingo, Puerto Plata, so it's definitely good to get their perspective, and see how life is going for them living in smaller cities. So you guys will definitely stay tuned for the updated content when it comes to that for sure. Ra, you get your plans done for El Coupe? No, not yet, not yet. Only because I I have a lot to do. Ra, I gotta do the roofing, and I don't already got the pricing on that. And my partner is giving me a good deal. Now, I will tell you guys, just so you know, when it comes to doing it, especially if you're looking to do a flat roof, my construction is almost, it's like when it's all said and done, I'm looking at like a 320 square meter construction. It's a big house, it's a big house. And I really didn't think it, my partner's like, man, you don't realize what you have. So to do a roof on that is going to cost me some money. We're talking about almost about 400,000 pesos, and that's without my partner's fee. He said, bro, if you go anywhere else, you're looking at almost $12,000, and it's not far off from the estimate that I got before my partner and I started working together. So that is the going price. Roofs are not expensive, and if you're looking to do a roof on your home, I mean, there are other options, but it's all, I tell people, look, I could have easily done something cheaper, but I'm the type of person, I want what I want, and I'm not gonna settle for that. I'm not gonna settle for less. You understand what I'm saying? And that should be your mentality too, especially if you are going to live in this home. Now, if it's an investment property, hey, that's something different. You know what I mean? And I always say that if you're looking to do an investment property, I'm not going to say do bare minimum, but I put it to you like this: what you put in is what you get. Okay, so if you're going to do an investment property and do bare minimum, you can only expect people to buy at a bare minimum price. I'm just saying, and I don't want to be known for doing, bare minimum projects. I want to be known for doing, luxury projects at an affordable price, because I feel like the price of real estate and condos and all of that, it's just ridiculous, to say the least. So when I do start my projects, I'm gonna sell them below market only because I want to sell fast. I want to sell fast. I'm not trying to be rich. I just want to be able to make a life for myself and be able to, not have to come back to the United States. I want to be able to live comfortable and also help other people, to live comfortable too, if that makes sense. So my idea is building affordable homes, affordable condos, luxury affordable condos, to say the least. And I'm selling below market, as I said. So that's my mentality. And I think when you have that kind of a mindset, especially if you're a person that's looking to get in this type of business, this is what your mindset should be. Because for one, there's a lot of competition out there. And if you want to knock out your competition by selling lower than what they're selling, yeah. You'll sell them like hotcakes, man. My grandmother always said, you catch more bees with honey. So that's what you do. That's what you do. But I just wanted to get on and give you guys some tidbits here, and I hope that, this live was helpful and informative, for you guys. As I said, I set up the members only channel. So, members only page. So if you guys want to join the members only, a lot of you guys, because some of you guys reach out to me like, Jay, I don't know how to access it. So if you're looking to access that, just reach out to me via email. As I said, it's taylorjayson01 at gmail.com, and I will just forward it to you directly. Yeah. And more than likely after this, because I'm just working so hard, because by the end of August, I want to have this roof done. Okay, and I planned on heading after I get this roof done, guys. I'm gonna take a little break. Probably go down in October, and just take some content, meet up with a few clients, and meet up with some associates of mine so that I can create some more content for you guys. Because they do have. My thing is I prefer to be there. When I'm meeting you guys in person, I really do. And I do want to say that I'm sorry for the ones that I didn't get a chance to meet when I was down there last time. Uh, you know, Sometimes I get it's not enough time in a day, and I start early, guys. A lot of you not like my day starts early when I'm in Dominican Republic. I have a whole routine. Usually I'm up at like no later than 7 o'clock. Head to the beach, get a nice swim in, have breakfast, go back to my Airbnb apartment, shower, and then I start working. And then sometimes I'm even working on Saturdays only because, and maybe even Sundays sometimes, because a lot of you guys are coming flying in and out at different times. So I try to accommodate everybody. I really do. J Day, let me see. J Day meetup. Yeah, so I think, and then also what I want to do, guys, once I get my planning for October, what I would like to do, and I was talking to my partner about this. What I'd like to do is host a day trip. To I'm just hoping that the weather is still nice enough to hit the rivers, because after a certain time, man, that river water gets cold. It gets cold. I'm gonna try to make it down for September, but I'm gonna work it out. And once I find out what my schedule is, you guys will be the first to know. And then at that point, I think I will plan a day trip to maybe my favorite river in DR, which is Rio Jamal, La Presa de Norte. I like to do a day trip, with a bus full of us. Figure out, how much the bus is going to cost me, and of course charge a fee for that, but everything will pretty much be included. Drinks, food, and that way you guys can experience the local DR vibe, and I can't stress that enough. When you're traveling there, and I say it time and time again, sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I believe, I feel like when you were traveling there, especially when you've been traveling for years, there's no reason why you should not be visiting other cities. And I'll be the first to tell you, I love, going and traveling to other cities, man. And I've been to a lot of different cities. My years of traveling to Dominican Republic, get outside of Sosua, Cabarete, and Puerto Plata, experience what else is out there. And it's really, really cheap to get on a bus. If you're one of those people that are adventurous, I highly suggest you, start doing your research. Especially if you're spending more than 2 and 3 weeks at a time. You really should be checking out some of the other smaller cities to see what else is out there. Hey, you might see something you like in another city and decide that you want to invest there. You know what I mean? So definitely step outside the box, and don't be afraid to engulf yourself in DR. Okay? Yeah. Never on the daily. What's going on? Hey guys, for those of you guys just tuning in, be sure to hit the like, hit the share, and the subscribe. Yeah. So that's pretty much what it is, guys. I'm here at work. The clock is it's about to be 9 o'clock. Well, actually, I got a little bit more time. So if you guys have any questions, and if you have any suggestions, just drop a message in the comment section, man. And yeah, and if you have any other topics that you might feel I should talk about, by all means, let me know, and I'll definitely create a topic for you for sure. So, yeah, I think that's it, guys. Be sure to hit the like, hit the share, and the subscribe button. I appreciate all the love and support, man. RA, I appreciate you. I really do. I do. Don't think that I don't. And I appreciate the $100 donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Love is love, guys. Until always. I'll see you guys till then, man. Peace and love. Y'all stay safe out there. And once again, as soon as I get my itinerary for maybe September, October, I'll let you guys know. And also, when I do put out this upcoming content, when it comes to my house, all that stuff is going to be in the members only. Members only. My house at this point, members only. The only people that's going to see it is those who just subscribe to the members only. And then, once the house is completely done, then that's when I will showcase it publicly. But for those of you guys who are looking, that want to see things being done step by step by step, all of that stuff will be in the members only section, all right? All right, guys, peace and love. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday. Y'all stay safe out there. Until next time, guys, I'll be talking to y'all soon.